Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to some more rifle testing, and today we've got a combo that we have not tested yet and a rifle that we haven't brought out on the channel in, I don't know, probably a year or something now. So it's been a little while since this one's been out of the safe, and I happened to find some of this ammo on sale the other day, so I had to pick it up so we could actually see what this combo is capable of. I know this rifle can definitely give us some good groups, but we'll see what it can do with this particular ammo. So for today's ammo, I brought out some of the Hornady American Whitetail loads, but these ones are a 30 150 grain InterLock projectile, moving at about 2390 feet per second. I've tried a decent amount of the American Whitetail lineup through several different calibers and rifles. Some combos like it more than others, but I've never tried any of it in 30-30, so we'll see how it does. And for the rifle we're going to run it through, I brought out my Marlin 336 in 30-30. This one is from right about 1982, 83, something like that, right before the crossbolt safety. It's got a 20-inch barrel on it, and up on top is an old Bushnell Sport View 3-9 scope with the classic like 80s 90s see-through rings there. This is by no means a long-range precision setup, but it's a pretty close range, you know, out to 100 yards, brushy woods gun type of deal, and that's exactly what it gets used for. So we'll see how it likes the Hornadys, since I know this rifle does very well with the 150 grain Winchester Super X loads, so I guess we'll see what the Hornadys can actually give us. But as for today's test, everything is set up the same as usual. I've got the target at 100 yards, as well as the chronograph so we can get our velocity. So we'll take 3 groups, 3 shots each. It might not be a perfect scientific test, but it's at least going to give us an idea of what this combo is capable of. And I will be letting the rifle sit for a few minutes in between each group, so that way heat shouldn't be too much of an issue. I mean, it's about 65 out here today, so we should be able to handle it pretty well. And for those curious, that particular rifle probably has about 20 rounds through it right now since it was last cleaned, so it's not a perfectly fresh bore either. So let's get you guys a view of that target, shoot our groups, and we'll see what the old 336 can do with the Hornady American Whitetails. Alright, so let's take a quick peek through our velocities real quick before we look at our target. The boss claim was 2390, however, I think we were hovering about 100 feet per second under that claim. And we do have a 20-inch barrel on this particular 336. Chances are they probably tested it through a 22 or 24-inch barrel to get that kind of claim, but we'll run through and see what we actually got today. So for a high, we had 2309. For a low, we had 2261. That gave us an average of 2288, so 102 feet per second under their boss claim, with an extreme spread of 48 and a standard deviation of 15. So at an average of 2288, just under that 2300 feet per second velocity, and right about 2300 is kind of what I expect to see on average from a 30-30 with a general factory load in a Winchester or a Marlin rifle or something like that. And of course, here are the energy numbers for 2288 from 150 grain bullets, so you can see what kind of energy we're actually pushing, and that's plenty enough for a deer hunt. So about 100 feet per second under their boss claim, nothing too unexpected for today's results. But let's move over to our target and see how accurate they actually were. Alright, so now let's take a look at our target and see how they actually perform through that 336. And right off the bat, I would say they're pretty average. They're not horrible. They're plenty good enough for a deer hunt out to 100 yards or so, which is exactly what that rifle gets used for. But they are not as good as what I have seen in previous testing from that rifle. That particular rifle just seems to really like the Winchester Super X 150 grainers for whatever reason. But these aren't horrible either, so we'll measure them and see. We'll start up here with our first group group, which is these 3 shots right here in the middle. And that actually might be our worst group of the day. Could be a little bit of cold bore, giving us a little wider spread as well. It's a possibility, I suppose, but we'll measure it and see what it gave us. And that group gave us 2.43 inches. So definitely nothing super impressive. Again, it's plenty good enough for a 100-yard deer hunt, but we can definitely get much better out of it, that's for sure. So now we'll move over here to the bottom left with these 3 shots, which was our second group. I think we did improve a little bit, but it's still nothing too groundbreaking necessarily. And it gave us a 1.98 inch group. Definitely an improvement, but our third and final group down here in the bottom right definitely is our best one of the day. And for those wondering, I felt perfect about all of these trigger squeezes today, so nothing to be concerned with there, but that's clearly our best group, no doubt about it. So we'll measure it because I think that's probably about as good as we're capable of getting from this particular rifle and ammo combo. And that final group gave us a 1.42 inch spread. So just shy of 1.5 inches. It's still nothing super groundbreaking necessarily. I know this rifle's capable of MOA type of groups. I've done it on numerous occasions with the Super X 150 grainers. So based on these 3 groups, I think about 1.5 inches like that last group is probably about as good as we're gonna get. And that's kind of what I've seen from the Hornady American Whitetail stuff in general. I've seen a couple nice performances from it, but I've also seen a number of very kind of average, mediocre performances as well, and that's what I'd classify this as. It's not horrible. I've seen way better from that rifle. This is still plenty good enough for a 100-yard deer hunt, so if it's what I had, I would absolutely be confident in it, but it's just not the preferred ammo for that particular rifle either. So not horrible for today. I'd call it pretty mediocre, pretty much right down the middle, average, but still good enough. Alright y'all, well, what did you think about that performance right there? I might have been hoping for just a touch better out of it than that. Ideally, I'd like to be right around that inch group or better, and I know that rifle's capable of it, but I don't think this is all too surprising considering what I've previously seen from the American Whitetail stuff. It's very much average. It's good enough to do the job, but it's nothing super special to write home about either. This particular rifle isn't usually too picky about ammunition. Generally, the average ammo is between 1 inch and 1.5 inches, and I mean that last group that we got right here was 1.4, but it definitely has its favorite in the Winchester stuff. So leave all your thoughts down below. Is that about what you expected to see? Were you a little surprised one way or the other? Have you tested any of these 30-30 American Whitetail 150 grainers, and if so, what kind of results have you seen from them? Is that a combo you would hunt with, or would you prefer to see it a little bit tighter grouping than that? And what other loads do you want to see us test through this 30-30, or just rifle stuff in general? Let me know all that down below. But with that being said, I've got some more testing to get done for you guys, so I'm going to get back to it. As always, we have the channel Instagram as well as the mailbox where you can send stuff if you'd like. All that information will be in the description if you're interested in it, but I'm going to get back to it, so I'll see y'all in the next one.